And in that process, I think when we talk about some of the things that we're talking about right now, people will often instinctively say, well, I need to be doing what I'm called to as my job. And how do we make a differentiation between calling and career?
Man, that's a great question. I was definitely one of those people that I've worked a couple of jobs that I was just like, I hate this. I'm better than this. I want to get out, you know?
Right.
And I'm not wanting to promote the message of like, oh, you hate your job. It's not what you're called to do. Quit.
Yeah.
And somehow the next day your rent's going to get paid. That's not how it works, unfortunately, you know? I think a part of it, even how I have some people come up to me and they'll go, I feel this like gifting inside of me. It's burning inside, you know, I got to get it out, you know, my art or my speaking or my, you know, whatever it is that they have in their heart. And I'm like, when you feel that feeling, it's not necessarily to say you're going to go do something large right now with that. When you feel that feeling, start off small and be a good steward over what seem like the small things. They're not really small, but we think they are because we think, well, if God called me to speak, he must have called me to speak in front of 20,000 people.
Sure.
God wouldn't call me to speak in front of like 5-year-olds.
Right.
But if you can't speak to the 5-year-olds, why should you go and do the room of the 20,000? So I think a part of it is stewarding that moment. And also you can do your calling without it being your job. You know, like there are a lot of things that I get to be a part of. Like I've been volunteering with Wellspring Living. It's an organization here in Atlanta that provides a home for girls and women that are coming out of sexual exploitation and sex trafficking, provides a home for them to recover and have therapy and get educated and just get back on their feet. And I feel called to that. But I don't want Wellspring to pay me. I don't want the girls that are there to pay me. I just want to be there to write with the girls. You know, I go there once a month or so and write with them and talk with them and learn so much from them and hope they enjoy that time. But that's an example of like, I feel called to that, but it doesn't mean I want to make a job of doing that. I just want to go in there and serve. And whatever we feel called to do is service. So I feel like our first place is to find out, not so much how can I get paid, but how can I make sure I'm doing that and not hiding behind my fear and things.
I remember seeing Amena Brown for the first time at a Passion conference. Like probably 10 years ago.
I bet it was.
Yes, right?
Yes, that was the poem.
But I would imagine that after you got off stage and you got in whatever car you were driving at that point and drove home, you didn't go to another conference the next day and do that again.
No.
That wasn't your career, but it was your calling and you were doing it. What did you do to pay the bills in that season of your life?
Oh my gosh, I think at that point I was working as a receptionist. I think, well, no, I think at that point actually I was working at a smoothie place.
Nice.
And then I worked as a receptionist, and then I just took temp jobs as they would come in. I worked customer service. I've only been full-time, it'll be 4 years January. Awesome. And some other artists and I would talk about, you know, your day job's like your Clark Kent, you know. It's like, and it's kind of good for you as an artist. You need like, I feel like when you're, especially doing stage work, you need some place in your life that brings you back to the ground. And so when you're not doing this full time, what brings you back to the ground is that you got to go back to your job. Where you have a supervisor or a manager, where you have a time you have to be there. They weren't at the thing where you were performing. They were not there applauding for you.
No idea.
They
who
don't
you are.
care. They care about you doing your job, you know? And so I did that for years. And I think it built a good character in me to have to go back and do that and not be able to just float on how amazing, you know, that moment on stage was. But the other thing, now, even though I do this full time, what grounds me now is having to wash clothes or having to wash the dishes. Like, you know what? You had a great time at the event. People dug what you did. But when you get home, your clothes are dirty, just like everyone else.
For sure.